Hello everyone, it's tag time again, and this time it's Spring into Adventure. So, hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Through the Pages with Dee. As I said, it's time for another tag. I do have another tag yet to do, but I'm playing a little bit of catch up here amongst reading books and doing tags. I very much enjoy the tags, so if you want to tag me, go ahead, it's fine. So this one I was tagged in a while ago, I think about 2 weeks ago now, by Pat from Book Chat with Pat, the beautiful teacher who I absolutely adore. She's just gorgeous. And from Carl as well, from Please Read Your Book, who's a YouTuber that I've recently found, and he's very good. So if you haven't subscribed to those two people, please go and do that, because you won't be disappointed with their content. So, as I say, this tag is Spring into Adventure. If you're wondering what I'm looking at, it's my questions, because I've written them down. So shall we just get going? Right. So, first question. What's your favourite adventure book? So, as you know with me, I can never give usually just one answer. So that's going to be the same case with this tag as well. You're not just going to get one answer out of me. So, what's your favourite adventure book? So, childhood, it was The Littlest Vampire Takes a Trip, which I've said many times now, by Angela Soma Bodenberg. That was my very first favourite book for adventure. Then I found Peter Pan by James Barrie, which I do love. I think that's a great adventure book. Then my series favourite has to be, which I only found last year, or the beginning of this year I should say, which my partner bought me, which was John Gwyn's Faithful and the Fallen. Fantastic series. If you haven't read John Gwyn's Faithful and the Fallen, and I think I'm quite aware that you, Britain, haven't read it, I strongly suggest you give that a go. You will not be disappointed. It is a fantastic series. I loved it. And one that I do know that is Britain's favourite, and Chaz's. And who else do I know? Like, John Minton also likes this, which is American Gods by Neil Gaiman. So those are my favourite adventure books, because that's exactly what they are, adventures. Question 2. What's your newest, most recently published adventure book? Okay, so I'm quite a new reader. Full-time reader. I only started June, July of last year. So I've got an awful lot of catching up to do. I have lots and lots of books behind me that I haven't actually got to as yet. Time's running out. I don't know how much longer I have left on this earth. So it's a case of I read quick so that I can get these books in, because I don't want to miss a thing. That's the kind of person that I am. I don't want to feel like I'm missing out. But my newest published adventure that I most enjoyed was, thank you to Eva at She Was Only Eva, is The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. Again, if you have not read that book, please read it. It is quite possibly one of the most beautifully intoxicating, mind-bending books I have ever read. I think it's fantastic. It's such a beautiful story. There is romance in there, which I'm not normally a fan of, but the romance in this, I loved it, because it was a twist, because it was LGBTQ plus inclusive. So it is just a beautiful, beautiful tale with some nasty elements in there, but it's fantastic. So The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. Question 3. What's the oldest, as in earliest published, adventure book you've read? So again, Peter Pan by James Barrie. Then also Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens, which is a fantastic tale. And Death on the Nile by Agatha Christie. That may throw you a curve. You may question if that is adventure. But if you have read Agatha Christie's Death on the Nile, or if you have even watched the film, I think you might agree with me that that is definitely an adventure. We're travelling down the Nile and there is an adventure ensuing. We do come off the boat and we go on to land. I do believe personally that's an adventure. That's my personal opinion. So for me, it qualifies as an adventure. You can argue if you wish. I don't mind. If you have a difference of opinion, you are completely entitled to that. But for me, Death on the Nile classifies as an adventure. So question 4. Who's your favourite adventure book author? Here's where we could go on forever. However, I've crammed it down, I think. So we've got John Gwynne, obviously. Nicholas Ames for his book Kings of the Wild. Stephen Erickson for Gardens of the Moon, which to me was one of the most awe-inspiring books I've ever read. The feelings that I got from reading that book were immense. It puts Gardens of the Moon in this place where other books kind of have to match to that. So that's how good Gardens of the Moon was for me. I would also say Roald Dahl. I think he does some great adventure children's books. Agatha Christie. I do believe she writes adventures in her own way. Murder mystery adventure. And Stephen King. Stephen King is also known for adding adventure into his novels. So those are my authors. Question 5. What's your favourite film adaptation of an adventure book? So, there's the obvious, Lord of the Rings. I've seen those. I haven't read Lord of the Rings, but I have seen it, and I very much enjoy Lord of the Rings. Another one where it's an adaptation, kind of the book. They're thereabouts, but as regards to just the film, I adore the film, which is Hook, Peter Pan's Hook. Another one I enjoy is Dark Crystal. See, I have a childish side to me. I think you noticing that. And again, the film adaptation of Death on the Nile. I think that's a fantastic. Peter Ustinov, brilliant. With Jessica Fletcher, what's her real name? Angela Lansbury, Bette Davis. I actually even like the new version as well. I can't think of the actor's name right now who does direct it. I think he plays a fantastic Poirot. So Death on the Nile is one of my favourites. Where are we up to? Number 6. Who's your favourite adventure book character? Okay. Here was where I couldn't cut it down. So you'll have to bear with me now because I have a lot. I just can't slim it down. These people have to be mentioned as characters. So, from the Farseer trilogy, we've got Lady Patience, Verity, Fitz, the Fool. Those are some of my favourite characters from the Farseer trilogy. Kings of the Wild, it was Moog. I absolutely adore Moog. Gardens of the Moon, it was Quick Ben, Tattersail, Krupp, Sorry, Parran. Those are some of my favourite characters from Gardens of the Moon. And from The Faithful and the Fallen by John Gwynne, Storm, Gar, Veridis, Brina. Those are just to mention a few. And I've just recently finished Renia, and I thought Renia is a fantastic character. I also think that Avis is a beautifully written character. Who else? Oh, the list could be endless for me with characters. Characters stick with me, and they make an impression on me. So it's very hard to whittle it down, but I had to just go with those. Even though that's probably more than I should have gone with, but, how can you slim that down? It's hard. 7. Do you prefer fiction or non-fiction adventure books? I would have to say both. I do enjoy fiction, probably more, but there is obviously, it goes without saying, an element of reality to non-fiction. But there is a book that I know Pat has read, and the way she talked about it, she's made me want to read it more. I've seen it myself, and I've considered whether or not I should read it, but Pat's review of it made me want to read it more, and that's The Wager by David Grant. I really want to give that a go. It just looks really, really good. So I'm going to say that's one that I'm after. That's non-fiction. I also have Brother, Do You Love Me? I don't know if that's quite an adventure yet, but that's another one that's non-fiction that I want to read. So my answer to that is both. I like both. Question 8. Do you consider yourself adventurous? Why or why not? In here, at the moment, I still am. This doesn't quite follow what this wants to do. So I was. I have done plenty of roller coaster rides. I have done a reverse bungee for charity. I am a big motorcycle fan. My dad was a motorbiker. My partner rides a motorbike. So there are. I am kind of an adrenaline junkie, but because of the fibromyalgia, I'm not in a place where I can do the things that I used to do. So in here, I'm still very adventurous, and there's still lots I haven't even been able to do. I've never, because I had children quite young, I've never actually been able to leave the country. I've never been in a financial position to actually leave England or the UK. I've been to Scotland, I've been to Wales, I've been down south a little bit, but I've never actually left the UK. And my adventurous side does feel like time is ticking for that to happen. I don't even own a passport. I've never ever bought a passport. So I do have like oodles and oodles of regrets that I've never fulfilled everything that I want to do. So yes, but I am very, very adventurous in here. Still in here. The adventurous girl is still there. So some of my adventure is sort of covering myself in tattoos. That's been part of my adventurous side, my daring side. This one I did myself. I've done a few on myself. Done a tattoo on my daughter. So yeah, I do have quite a creative, adventurous side that I would love to keep going with, but this doesn't necessarily allow it, even though it's in here. Number 9. What's your favourite genre to combine with the adventure genre? Get my teeth in. Usually, I have to say it's mystery, horror, and fantasy. So if you come at me with a murder mystery adventure, yep. Horror adventure, yep. Fantasy adventure, yep. And if you could combine all those into one, that is my ultimate book. An ultimate book for me. That is a murder mystery, horror, fantasy adventure. That would just be the perfect book for me. Finally, number 10. Do you play, or have you ever played, the adventure-themed games? Such as computer and PC, etc. Yes, I actually have. I much prefer being a watcher and watching a playthrough. One of my favourite YouTubers is CJU, and I also very much enjoy Delirious. I love watching their playthroughs. I think they're hilariously funny, fantastic. What I love about Delirious is his humour, and what I like about CJU is his running commentary as he's playing the game, and that he plays an awful lot of indie games and gives them an opportunity. Like I like to give indie authors an opportunity, he gives indie game players an opportunity. So those are two of my I really enjoy watching on the gaming side of things. But myself, I enjoy games such as Wolf Among Us, which is Telltale. I liked The Last of Us. One I have actually played is COD. I've played quite a few COD games. It took me a minute. My girls had to teach me how to play. I was basically doing this against a wall for quite some time with a gun, just spinning around and round in circles, not knowing how to do it. And then eventually, with the help of my girls' guidance and playing Blacklight, I fathomed out the shoot 'em up kind of way to play. And I do like a good shoot 'em up. Walking Dead is also a great game that I enjoy watching. And Red Dead Redemption. Delirious played Red Dead Redemption. He also played Red Dead Redemption 2. And his playthroughs of those are brilliant. Another favourite of mine, I don't know if you'd call it an adventure, I think it is, and it's kind of a horror adventure, is Biohazard. Resident Evil's Biohazard. That's one of my favourites, an absolute favourite. I never get bored of watching that. And I have had a go at playing that myself, and I did alright actually. Don't know if anybody's familiar with the scene with the car in the garage, and the dad gets in the car and he's coming after you and he's trying to hit you with the car. I did quite well in there, probably because I'd watched quite a few playthroughs, to be honest, but I was quite impressed with myself. For a 40 plus year old woman, I thought I fared okay. So yeah, those are my Spring into Adventure answers. All that's left to do now is tag some people. So what I've decided on this video is I'm going to tag people who are new to me, who I've recently found, and who I have never tagged in anything before. I think that might be a nice way to introduce my people to some new people. Excuse me, I've just got a pop-up on my screen. It might be a new way to introduce my people to some people who they may not know about. So, I'm sure you all know who this lady is. It's Alicia from Birdie and the Books. That's my first person I'd like to tag into the Spring into Adventure tag. Then it's going to be a new booktuber, but he's lovely. His first video that I watched was so chilled. It was so nice. He's got such a calm sort of aesthetic and homely, warm. I'm looking forward to seeing more from Alec, and that's this Alec, Book and Rambles. So I'll tag you, Alec. I'd also like to tag an Erudite Adventure. I have been subscribed to an Erudite Adventure for a while now. Sadly, I don't actually know his real name, but he's a lovely guy, lovely to watch, does some brilliant content. So an Erudite Adventure, I tag you. Another gentleman who I found, who I think is so sweet and clearly has a fascination for books like I do. Even though we pace ourselves, we buy books over a period of time, but when we do a haul, we have stacks. And I have 3 rather large stacks downstairs that I haven't shown you guys yet. The last book haul I did was just a portion of the books. I think I have currently probably 40 books downstairs, which I need to show you guys because they're all brand new and I haven't showed you them yet. So that's the Dutch Greybeard. I think he's wonderful. I love his personality. I just love how he adores books, and he's just got such a great enthusiasm for books. So I tag you, Dutch Greybeard, and also somebody who I found through Britain's channel and I subscribe to from Britain, and that's Celebrity. So I tag you, Celebrity. Now, if you haven't been mentioned in this tag, but it's a tag that you feel like you would like to join in with, please do, by all means. I love watching tags, so if anybody feels that they'd want to do Spring into Adventure, by all means go ahead. You don't need my permission. It's there. Just enjoy yourself. Have fun with it. But other than that, that's today's video. That's Wednesday's video. On Friday, I will be talking about the book Evie bought me, which is Pulling the Wings Off Angels by KJ Parker. Fantastic book. But, yep, that's it for today. So, you guys have a fantastic Wednesday. I will see you all on Friday. But for now, I've been Dee, and I'll see you guys next time through the pages. Bye-bye.